Hello and welcome back. Now it's time for the International Press Review with Lana Kemurier. Lana, what have you got for us?
Well, today the international press is commenting the pact reached between the two Koreas yesterday. They pledged to try and formally end the Korean War, and a lot of the press, of course, sees this positively, notably the countries involved in negotiations such as China and the US. So in the China Daily, the paper says Korea was the last Cold War frontier, and it quotes a professor saying that yesterday's agreement laid the foundations for peace, so positive view here, and same positive view from the New York Times, saying that the summit exceeded expectations. The paper says there were worries that the South Korean president Roh Moo-hyun was a lame duck, that he was going to make too many concessions, but the writer says the North ended up making concessions as well, a positive assessment of the deal globally, with a funny quote at the end. Kim Jong-il was reacting to speculation that he was sick, and he said, I make a little move and it gets huge coverage. It seems like they're fiction writers and not journalists. So little moves making huge coverage. It could also be said of another very interesting paper in today's Asia Times. It's titled Dissed by Kim Jong-il, and it differs from the rest of the press. The columnist is much less convinced by President Roh's achievements yesterday. He comments every tiny significant move, like the fact that it's President Roh who walked up to meet Kim Jong-il while President Kim stayed put and didn't move. And the writer says Kim tried to show all through the summit that he was the president of both Koreas.
I noticed they did drink a lot during their summits. I don't know if you saw the pictures, but they always seem to be toasting to something. Anyway,
might be part of a power play as well. You never know.
Lana, what else have you got?
Moving on to the United States and presidential election, The Guardian today runs an interview of former President Bill Clinton. He says that if his wife Hillary were to become president, she wants him to take on the task of restoring America's international image and its lost prestige. And as is to be expected, President Clinton calls for more multilateralism in international affairs. He also condemns some of the American media that he says promote a very ideological, very caricatural right-wing stance, saying that such positions have actually angered the world. So President Clinton was in London. He's in Paris today.
Promoting his book.
Exactly.
Okay, what about rugby?
Yes, we couldn't do this press review without talking of rugby, especially as France and New Zealand are preparing to face off in the quarterfinals tomorrow. So French sports daily L'Équipe titles Le Jour d'Avant, the day before. They report also about the ongoing sports jersey debate. It still hasn't been decided which side will wear which color shirt tomorrow. France is usually in blue, New Zealand in black, and screen tests showed that it was very hard to tell the two teams apart when they were wearing such similar colors. So who's going to be... All Blacks are wearing grey, aren't they, in Wales? Not sure. Are they going to wear grey or pale green? Is France going to wear white? L'Équipe has another article titled Should we exchange shirts? On échange les maillots. And in New Zealand's press, of course, they're also commenting about the issue. The New Zealand Herald says it might end up with New Zealand still in black, France making the concession of wearing white.
White? So that's England's colours.
France does wear white from time to time against Italy, you know, but it all participates in the rising tension and, of course, a commercial war between Adidas sponsoring the All Blacks and Nike sponsoring France.
Okay. Just briefly for us, anything else?
Yes. Lastly, in the press, an article in the New Zealand paper, The Press, an article commenting about the face-off between two star players of France and New Zealand's team. Chabal, known as the caveman, Alexander Williams, known as Broken Jaw. Okay. So two prestigious figures there.
All there to watch in the quarterfinal on Saturday, of course, from Cardiff. I know I'll be watching. Lana Kemurier with the International Press Review. Thank you very much. Do stay tuned. More news here very soon on France24.
Reporters Today brings you a special report on the rise of radical Islam in northwest Pakistan. The population there lives in fear. We investigate how far the fundamentalists are prepared to go to impose their regime. Reporters Today at 10:15 a.m. Paris time on France 24.